So let's go ahead and get started with our first exercise, a basic crunch. Remember, we're doing this for 30 seconds twice through. So start up, nice tight crunch, try to get up as high as you can at the top of that range of motion. When you drop back down, don't let those shoulders completely touch the ground. You want to keep just a little bit of a hover underneath those shoulders before you crunch right back up again, forcing those abdominal muscles to stay engaged the entire time. Now, though these exercises are focused on those core muscles, the abs, the obliques, and lower back, you can also engage the rest of your body just by contracting those muscles as tightly as you can, those muscles through your legs and your arms. And go ahead and let that first round down. You got a few seconds to rest before we start right back into it again. Just 5 seconds left. And start up again. Crunch up nice and tight. Remember, keep those shoulder blades up nice and high, keeping those abdominal muscles constantly contracted, making sure you're getting as much range of motion out of this as you can, getting a tight squeeze at the top of that range of motion. Now, another thing you want to be aware of is how you're breathing. You never want to hold your breath. So though you're contracting those abdominal muscles, it's going to have a tendency to force you or want to force you to hold your breath. Keep those lungs open, always either breathing in or breathing out, never holding your breath. We're almost done. And let it relax. Good job. Let's go ahead and flip over for our next exercise, which is going to be a push-up. So just a traditional push-up, either off of those knees or off those toes, whichever version you can control, for a full 30 seconds. Almost ready to start. And begin. Nice full range of motion in that push-up, whichever version you're doing. Make sure you're getting that chest as low to the ground as you can. Keep a nice straight line through that back. If you're doing a half push-up, so off of those knees, then you want to make sure you have a straight line from your knee to your shoulder. If you're doing a full push-up off of those toes, then you want to make sure you have a straight line from your ankle to your shoulder. Just make sure you're trying not to let those hips kick up too high or droop down. Just a few more seconds to go. Just keep pushing through it. And let it relax. Good job. This is your first round down. We've got one more round of those push-ups to go. Just 5 more seconds. And start up. Remember, keep that back nice and flat. Whether you're doing a half version or full version, make sure that butt stays down in a nice straight line with the rest of that body. Try to focus on a nice full range of motion for every single push-up. I know those arms are probably going to be getting really tired by the end of that 30 seconds, but just keep pushing through it. If you need to, take a couple second break and then go right back to it as quickly as you can. We're almost done, just 5 seconds left. And let it relax. Good job. All right, that's the last one of those push-ups. So let's go ahead and move on to our next exercise, which is going to be a back bow. So laying flat down on your stomach, arms and legs extended out straight. 5 more seconds. And start up. Nice full extension. Bring your arms and legs up at the same time. Keep those legs perfectly straight. Try to get those arms out nice and straight over your head. Trying to really squeeze those arms and legs up as high as you can, as high as is comfortable for that lower back. Making sure you're really focusing on that range of motion, getting a tight squeeze at the very top of that range of motion. Now again, check those arms and legs. Make sure they're staying nice and straight, as well as checking that breathing. Make sure you're not holding your breath. You only have a few seconds left to go, so keep pushing through it. And let it relax. All right, we're going to do that one more time. Just about 5 seconds left. And start up. Again, arms and legs extended out straight. Contracting those legs and arms up. Squeezing through that lower back and in those glutes to get your arms and those legs up as high as you can. Trying to get your thighs as high off the ground as possible, as well as that chest. Just keep that motion going, focusing on a tight squeeze at the top, making sure you're keeping those lungs open the entire time. Just 5 seconds left. And let it relax. Good job. All right, let's go ahead and get ready for our next exercise, which is going to be an alternating lunge. So standing up, me just stepping out with 1 foot at a time, down with that lunge nice and low, then stepping out with the opposite leg the next time. Let's go ahead and get ready. And start up. Stepping out, nice long step. The further out you step, the harder that lunge is going to be, so you can kind of adjust that depending on how hard you want it to be. Make sure that you drop down evenly between that front and rear leg. Try and get that rear knee down as close to the ground as is comfortable. If you need to limit that range of motion, by all means limit that range of motion, but try to get as much as you can, as much as is comfortable on those knees. We're almost done, just about 5 seconds left to go. And let it relax. Good job. All right, we got one more round of those lunges. Keep those lungs open. Try to recover as best you can. 5 more seconds. And start up. Nice long step. Dropping down as low as is comfortable. Keeping that chest straight up and down. Keeping those lungs open the entire time. Just keep that motion going nice and smooth, alternating back and forth between those feet. We're almost done, just 5 seconds left. Keep it going. And let it relax. Good job. All right, that was the last one of that one. So that means we're moving on to our next exercise, the squat plus a front kick. 5 seconds left. And start up. Nice deep squat. One leg comes up, kicks in front, back down to that squat, and then that opposite leg comes up. Make sure you're getting as deep of a squat as you can control on those knees and those hips. Getting a nice straight kick straight in front of your body. Make sure it's under control. You don't want a really quick or uncontrolled kick. You want to actually be able to feel like you could stop at any point through that kick and hold it. So take your time with it. Move nice and slow. Just focus on that form. Keep those lungs open. We're almost done. And let it relax. Already got one more round of those. Just keep those lungs open. Try to recover as best you can. 5 seconds left. And start up. Nice deep squat again. One leg comes up, kicks in front, deep squat. Opposite leg comes up. Just keep alternating back and forth. Now again, don't worry about really trying to move quickly here. This isn't a real fast kick. It's slow, under control. Make sure you can always control where that leg is at any given moment. And that'll actually make those legs have to work a lot harder. Move slower, keep those muscles contracted the entire time. Just 5 seconds left. And let it relax. Good job. All right, let's go ahead and move on to our next exercise, which is going to be an oblique crunch with a side leg lift. Now go ahead and lay out on that left side with that left hand kicked out about a 45-degree angle. Nice straight line through that body. Lift those legs the same time as pulling those shoulders up off the ground. You want to try to keep your body as perpendicular to the ground as you can, especially those hips. So it's going to feel like it limits your range of motion a little bit. You're going to have a tendency you want to lean back on those hips so you can kind of lean more like a crunch. But try to keep those hips perpendicular. Just bring those shoulders up towards that hip. The same time as lifting those legs up off the ground, keeping them nice and straight. Now you want to feel this primarily on that oblique on the top side, on that right side. So a few seconds left to go. And let it relax. Good job. We're going to go ahead and switch sides. Do the same exact thing on that opposite side. So we're just doing one round per side on this one. 5 more seconds. And start up. Get those legs up there really nice and high, crunching that shoulder down towards those hips, lifting those shoulders off the ground as much as you can. Really focusing on trying to get a tight squeeze on that top oblique from the base of your rib cage to the crest of your hip. Now focus on trying to keep those legs nice and straight, crunching that shoulder down to that hip, really trying to work that range of motion. Just keep it going, keeping those lungs open, nice smooth motion. 5 seconds left. And let it relax. Good job. All right, that was 2 of those, which means we're moving on to our next exercise, the crisscross crunch. So laying flat on your back, one leg extended out, the other knee up at about a tabletop position, so 90 degrees on that knee, 90 degrees on that hip, no closer in. And start it up. Alternate back and forth, really crunching that elbow up towards that knee rather than trying to bring that knee back towards that elbow. You want to try to get as much range of motion off of that torso as you can rather than trying to bring that knee back towards your elbow to make it easier. So really focus on getting a really tight crunch, not only crunching towards those legs, but also rotating those shoulders across. Keep it going just a little bit longer. You got 5 seconds left. Keep rotating those shoulders, get as much range of motion as you can. And let it relax. We have one more round of those crisscross crunches. Five seconds left. And start up. One leg extended out straight, flat against the ground. The other knee coming up over top of that hip joint. Remember, alternating back and forth, left elbow to right knee, right elbow to left knee. Just keep alternating back and forth, keeping those abdominal muscles contracted nice and tight, rotating as well as crunching forward. Just keep those lungs open. You got 10 seconds left. Keep pushing through it. Try to keep those knees out away from you as best you can. Really make it difficult for yourself. And let it relax. Good job. Let's go ahead and move on to our next exercise, which is going to be a bridge. So feet as close to that butt as is comfortable. Then nice and slow, you're going to lift those hips up off the ground. You got about 5 seconds left till we start. And start up. Squeeze those hips up there really nice and high, contracting those glute muscles, those butt muscles. That's what's going to be primarily lifting those hips, but you're also going to be feeling it and working those hamstrings and that lower back. Those are all going to be working to help get those hips up. Now you can do what Kelly did, which is lift those arms up straight above those shoulders. Just makes it a little bit harder for balance, especially if you have those knees and feet really nice and close together. Makes those core muscles have to work just a little bit harder. Got just about 5 seconds left. Keep it going. Tight squeeze at the top. And let it relax. Good job. We have one more round of those to go. 5 more seconds. And start up again. Remember, those hands come up if you want the harder version for that core. You can even push those hands a little bit farther by trying to pull your shoulder blades up off the ground as well, so you're just kind of balancing on that spine. Makes it a lot harder for balance, makes those core muscles have to work a lot harder, but only if you have those feet really nice and close together. So pinch those feet together if you want a little bit harder. Otherwise, nice wide stance with those feet, with your hands on the ground for a nice stable base. Got just a few seconds left. Make sure you squeeze it up nice and tight at the top. And let it relax. Good job. That was your last one of those. Let's move on to our next exercise, which is going to be fast hands crunch. So this one is very, very similar to a Russian twist, sitting up on that tailbone. Just a few seconds left. And start up. Rotating back and forth with those shoulders is a relatively quick motion. Hopping back and forth, barely tapping the fingertips to the ground on each side. Making sure you keep those hands relatively close. Different from a Russian twist, which has those hands out really straight in front of you in a much slower motion. Keep those feet up off the ground for the harder version. Otherwise, you want a little bit easier. You can let those heels touch down, give you a little bit of extra support, but then those legs and those core muscles don't have to work as hard. So just find the version that's right for you. Just a few more seconds, and let it relax. Good job. We have one more round of those coming up. 5 more seconds. And start up again. Lean back, about a 45-degree angle. Keep that back really nice and flat, rotating left to right. Keep those lungs open. Nice quick motion, keeping those feet up off the ground for the harder version. Heels touching the ground for the easier version. Just keep moving as quickly as you can control, making sure that you're not getting too out of control. You want to always be going just to your maximum, not past it. Almost done, just 5 seconds left. Keep it going. And let it relax. Good job. All right, let's go and move on to our next exercise, which is going to be a side push-up. Now you're going to be laying on your right side for this one, using your left hand to push those shoulders up off the ground. Got just a few seconds left. And start up. Using that left hand to press those shoulders up off the ground. Try not to use that right arm at all. You want to try to get as much of an extension on that left arm as is comfortable, trying to get as much distance underneath those shoulders as you can. Now, if you want to make it harder, you can always bend those knees, keep those thighs in a straight line with the rest of your body, and actually push up off of your knees rather than off of your hips. Makes it much, much more difficult, but do whichever version you can. Got just a few seconds left to go. And let it relax. We're going to go ahead and switch sides. Same exact thing on the opposite side. This is our last exercise for this routine, so really focus on trying to push through it as hard as you can. 5 seconds left. And start up. Press into that ground with that right hand, trying to lift those shoulders up as high as you possibly can. Use that left arm as little as possible. Remember, if you want to make it a little bit harder, you can always push up onto those knees rather than that hip, but it makes it much, much more difficult. Just keep it going. Keep those lungs open, keep those core muscles contracted, and keep those shoulders and hips perpendicular to the ground. Just 5 seconds left, almost done. and let it relax. Good job. That was our last repetition of our last exercise, which means this workout is complete. Good job.